Good afternoon, ladies and menfolk. Welcome to episode 42 of Word Ninjas Live. And thankfully, we don't have to panic because we know where our towels are. Hooray! Joining me today is Will, who is muted.
Hello!
There he is.
I thought I had unmuted.
And I forgot to introduce myself, but most of you know me as the instigator of literary insanity, Charles. And why is that making loud noises at me? Let's turn that off. Because we're professionals ish. Alright, episode 42 is filled with pollen, which is most unfortunate. Which may be why various members are not available to us. Although Justin has a viable excuse. As we said off air, he just turned a whole year older overnight, and that really does tend to throw people for a loop, so I think he's distracted today. So Justin will not be joining us.
Crazy time fluxes and whatnot.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that Ed is playing with alchemy off screen.
He's always playing with alchemy.
And Calvin will return eventually, but he has a lot more shenanigans he has to deal with than the rest of us combined, so we look forward to his eventual return. In the meantime, let's have some talkie points. Because it seems like a good day for talking. Alright, talkie point number 1. What is your favorite or preferred meaning of life, the universe, and everything? Because everyone has at least some opinion or perspective or idea on just what is the meaning of life, the universe, and everything. And this is going to be a short answer series since we only have 2 of us on this week, but so be it. I've gone through various meanings of life over the past 2 decades or so. Can't even say 3 decades yet. Give that another couple of years. Although the first decade doesn't really count for much. The latest one has boiled down to loud noises. No, it has boiled down to living an enriched lifestyle through unabashed creativity, which eventually you will understand a little bit more about, theoretically, presuming we ever actually get to talking about that and Terror 2015 and stuff like that.
Tag Terror 2015.
Allergies. But yeah, the whole concept of trying to live, an enriched lifestyle where you're actually trying to be creative on a regular basis. You're not letting the ridiculous perceptions of reality get you down, which is easier said than done, but for the past 2 decades or so, I've always identified as a writer in some way, shape, or form, and I'm pretty sure I always will be a writer in some way, shape, or form, for so long as I live on this earth. If I happen to live somewhere else, all bets are off. So as long as I can still create stories at some point or ask those what-if questions and just generally be creative, I'm pretty happy. That is my meaning of life. As for the meaning of the universe and everything else, I don't care. The universe can do whatever it wants. I like to keep things simple, because everything else is complicated. And how about Will?
I don't really know. I don't try to think about the meaning of life, because that's big and scary. I think that the answer to everything is in the asking the right questions. You can't get the right answer if you don't know how to ask the question. Well, yeah, that's a good answer for a stupid question. Um, just be good and do good to people, and other people will do good to you. That's how I try to live my life.
What if other people are evil?
Then you ignore them. I don't need to deal with no evil people in my life. They can go away.
Well, you don't have a mortal enemy or two.
Do you count?
Depends on what I'm asking you to do at any given week.
So at the moment, no.
Hooray!
But yeah, I'm not all that philosophical, so that's about all I got.
And for those future people listening, post in the comments or social media or wherever you happen to be listening to this, what is your meaning of life, the universe, and everything? Hopefully, we don't just get a whole slew of 42. You never know. All right. Talkie point number 2. What is your favorite method of interstellar travel? FTL, ludicrous speed, infinite improbability drive, etc. I feel like this one was from Justin.
For me.
Ah. Would you like to take this one first?
Sure, I'll give it a go. Favorite method of interstellar travel. I did say that I did like the hypergates they used in Cowboy Bebop, and the unpredictability of the infinite improbability drive is appealing. I do love unpredictable results. I think my favorite that I've ever seen was actually the Mass Effect gates from the Mass Effect game series, and how they explained they worked. In that basically they used this, I think it was called like zero energy, or I don't even remember what they called the resource anymore. But it basically created this mass effect field around your ship, effectively reducing the mass of your ship compared to the rest of the universe, thus allowing your ship to move faster through the universe. It would then be launched at super high speed across the galaxy to be received at another gate, which would return mass to normal, thus allowing you to travel across the galaxy in the blink of an eye.
Sounds complicated.
My favorite part was the part where they revealed that Pluto is actually a mass effect gate for our solar system, whose heating system malfunctioned, causing it to freeze over and turn into a small planet. And that Charon was basically just a gravitational anchor to hold it in place.
Huh.
I read that little bit and was like, oh, that's pretty cool, and explains why Pluto is different from the rest of the planets, like why its orbit is different and why it orbits around Charon instead of Charon being its exact moon.
Tell that to Sailor Pluto.
It's not my department. Telling that to Sailor Pluto. Snippy one.
As for myself, I'm kind of a fan of the Starburst from Farscape, which is unique only to the Leviathan starships. Um, Apparently, the other starships use a Hetch drive, which is basically FTL, only Farscape speak. But I never really knew what the Starburst technique used until I looked it up on the wiki, because I was actually kind of curious. And there's an actual explanation, which is just as silly as your Mass Effect gates. Apparently, the Starburst opens a gateway through space-time that allows the Leviathan to exist in and travel through one-dimensional space. thus drastically increasing the rate of speed a Leviathan can achieve without requiring increased amounts of energy output beyond what is needed to maintain starburst. And to the best of my
Okay
knowledge,
then.
yeah, that's the only faster than light method I've heard of that puts you in one-dimensional space.
I didn't even know one could enter one-dimensional space.
I think you have to do it carefully.
I think you'd have to come out of it very carefully.
It does seem to have some drawbacks because it's basically you set your vector and then you're stuck on that one vector.
Yeah, because that is the only vector that exists at that point.
Yeah. So wherever you happen to end up can be a little hit or miss.
Hmm.
So once you get out of a starburst, you have to figure out where the heck am I anyway.
I did just think of another one that I do enjoy.
Hmm.
From Futurama, the professor's dark matter engine on the Planetary Express ship.
Does that really count though?
But
I mean,
he
it's not the
explained how it worked.
traveling.
What?
It's not the ship that's traveling, it's everything else around the ship, which
That's the
stays still.
beauty of it. The ship stands still, and the universe moves around the ship.
I don't even know how you move a whole universe.
Dark matter. That can't work. Of course it can work. Then explain it to me. Now that's impossible.
I wonder how the Stargate gates are in relation to the Mass Effect gates. I mean, obviously smaller, but I wonder if they have a similar theory of energy and use.
I always imagined Stargates work more on a wormhole principle.
Yeah, and eventually
It
they
looks like they open up like a gateway or wormhole directly from one gate to another that you travel through.
yeah, and then they say it's powered by a 0 point module, which probably has some techie explanation to it.
I don't know. Aliens.
Yeah,
Evil.
aliens that they never meet.
Well, you meet them in the movie.
To a degree.
You meet one in the movie.
Yeah, it gets a little complicated. And then Stargate Universe makes it even more complicated.
You can always count on serializations to complicate things.
Yeah. And again, for our viewers and listeners, post your comments in the YouTube channel and wherever you happen to be listening to this. What is your preferred method of faster than light travel? Let us know so we can continue the conversations. I just thought of another one, but I have no idea what the explanation for it is. It's the slipstream drive from Andromeda, otherwise known as Hercules in Space.
I'm not familiar with that one.
It was Kevin Sorbo, only on a spaceship.
Well, I'm familiar that I'm aware of the series, but I never really watched it.
It was good until it got into the final couple seasons. Then they tried to explain things and have backstories for people, and it got weird.
Wait, you want to understand the science we made up for this? Okay.
I don't know how much science was involved, considering eventually they traveled back in time to the giant war that they missed, devastated an entire race, went back to the future, because why not? And then ended up in a pocket universe because multiple dimension silliness.
Well, yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Oh yeah, there was the what if question that I never answered. Oops. But yeah, we have a what if question for this week. What if the characters from one of your works found themselves in the settings of another of your works? Hmm. I only have two serious works in the works at the moment. You have the Slash and Burn Zombie Apocalypse verse, and then you have the Steampunk Tea Shop Assassins verse. Not sure which would be more dangerous, putting Slash and Burn in the Steampunk verse or some of the Steampunk people in the Zombie Apocalypse verse. There
Why
would be
not
a
both?
there would be a lot of collateral damage no matter which way it went. These people do not do non. Uh, that would just not end well.
No matter what, there's going to be something exploding.
Yeah, more than just one or two somethings. Yeah, that would be devastating. That would actually require some thought because there are some overlapping complementary powers between the two verses. That would be dangerous.
I see the gears turning already, though.
I need more steam for this.
You almost, I know that face. That's the I want to write this now face.
Well, it's scary because theoretically that is feasible. At least in the Slash and Burn verse. Because there are dimension hoppings or time travel. That is yet to be pinned down. But yay, logistics.
Just do what they did in Tsubasa, which the entire series was them hopping through all the other verses they ever created.
If I ever go the anime route, basically every anime now either has time travel, time skipping, or dimension hopping. In some way, shape, or form. Sometimes all of the above.
Well, you know.
How about for you?
Well, again, I only, like you, really have two stories I could work with right now. But mine are very, very different. My roommate's a stripper, and I have Clash of the Storms.
Clash of the Strippers?
Clash of the Strippers. That would be that sounds like a porno, though. A bad porno.
It would be Clash of the Titans, gone horribly wrong.
Yeah, horribly, horribly wrong. Let's see. I basically decided I basically thought if I was to cast a roommate and throw in a Clash of the Storms, it would basically be a furrier version of a Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's court. Shout out to Mark Twain.
I would read that.
It would be interesting because none of my characters from Roommate are interested in fantasy stuff. Like, most of the girls prefer to live in the present day, and most of the guys are very sci-fi based. You know, they're into Stargate and Farscape and Firefly and whatnot. They're not into like Hercules and Dungeons and Dragons or anything like that. But I did think of a little exchange. Kind of reminded me of Frozone and his wife from The Incredibles, but it would be between Marcus and Tara, where Marcus would just be all gung ho. Are the dragons? Can I fight a dragon? I'm gonna go fight a dragon. Marcus, you are not going off to fight no damn dragons. You are staying here and helping us get out of this mess. No, you put that sword down this instant. I've been preparing for this dinner party all month, and we're not missing it just so you can play knight.
With a really bad crossover you and I came up with.
Which one was that one?
The one where my characters cross into where Ed crosses into Maxie's world.
Yeah, but that's your special ed.
It is a special ed.
That's they're doing a series based on Full Metal Alchemist where they're all fashion models.
That is a special ed.
And Ed is apparently a very flamboyantly gay fashionista.
Because I am a shit.
But yeah.
But are you a little shit?
Oh, that's right. You can't hear. He asked if you're a little shit.
Get a resounding round of expletives that I can't use on a safe for work podcast.
Well, there's your answer.
Fair enough.
But I think that's basically how it would go. The other way around would be weird, taking fantasy characters and throwing them in a modern setting, which again has been done before. Hell, I think they even did it in a Garfield comic once.
I think my two villains would break each other. Because one is basically an immortal, and then the other one can hear people's thoughts.
Mm.
So that would end awkwardly.
Unless they team up, and then the world is doomed.
Yeah, that would not end well. Considering neither world ends well. Separately. I am a horrible, horrible person to my characters.
Yeah, it goes with the profession.
Hmm. I wonder how this question would go if your characters ended up in someone else's story.
Like if the cast of Roommate ended up in one of yours. I did have a follow-up question for this. Are
Did you
we
know?
are we talking like a yank in King Arthur's court where they're literally transplanted and are aware of the fact that they don't belong there, like some weird time portal sliders thing? Or are we talking an AU rewrite where we actually fit them in, take their personalities, but create new characters that are appropriate for the setting?
Personal preference.
Uh,
I didn't write the question, so I don't know if there are rules behind it.
well, I didn't write the question. Who wrote the question?
Maybe Google gained sentience and wrote it for us.
It was only a matter of time.
Either that or Justin chipped in and then forgot that he wasn't going to be on.
Excuse me. Because, I mean, if we were to take my characters from Roommate, we could probably adapt them alternate universe style to fit them into a steampunk setting or whatever setting it is for Slash and Burn. I don't even know.
Relatively modern day, but with semi-future tech.
Oh, see, like Aiden and Marcus would love that because they love future tech.
There's a lot of nanite powered or nanite stuff, both
Oh
good
yeah,
and bad.
they'd love that.
And the only proper piece of technology that Calvin and I have completely figured out is the Q battery, which powers all of the weapons. It's a dodecahedron-shaped battery with a
Nice,
touch screen, so you can figure out the power levels for it depending on the weapon.
nice, very nice.
I actually have a plastic mold template of it somewhere on my bookshelf.
That's thorough.
Well, there was a maker bot right in front of us, and we thought, what can we make with this? Let's make a battery. I don't think I'd really need to do an AU verse either direction because the two worlds are similar enough in power structures they could probably fit in, even although they would realize that something's not quite right here. I guess one universe would have more zombies and one would have more airships. But that's about it.
Would probably be really bored in my Roommate verse, since that's just real life, basically. Just with talking, walking animal people.
Now I'm picturing Slash's reactions to being stuck in that verse. He would not be happy. He would be very confused.
I know where there's a really good strip club.
I wonder how you know that. Is there wine there?
Yes, there's a full bar.
He'll give it a go. Let's see. Hey, it's time for the highlights reel. I should, after the show, update the show notes because we actually added something at the last minute. Let's bring that up. And that up. And then after that is that. Alright, and then go over there, and then over to there, and push the button and do the thing. And the book highlight for this week is conveniently the More Than Complete Hitchhiker's Guide, complete and unabridged.
We have this version here. It's a special version because it contains a previously unpublished story that is only available in this binding. Or at least as of this book's printing, it was only available in this binding. I don't know if they've added to other collections. But, so yeah, this trilogy contains 6 stories.
So the 5 books and then a short story?
I think it's longer than a short story.
Ah.
I think it's 6 books.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Well, I know there's now 6 books in the trilogy, although the last one was written by Ian Cofer of the Artemis Fowl series, because Douglas Adams wasn't around to do the 6th book.
Right. Yeah, this one supposedly contains a previously unpublished book.
Cool. I wonder if they've actually put all 6 books into a compendium yet. Because that 6th book came out a couple years ago now, I feel like. And surprisingly, Ian Cofer did a very respectable job of doing the Douglas Adams style for that book.
Nice. But so yeah, for people who only know about the Hitchhiker's Guide from the movie, there are many books, and the movie only covered like one of them.
And I did an entire driving rant on that series.
Oh my.
Yes. Because it was originally a radio play. And then it became the books, which tweaked a few things here and there. And then there was a British miniseries, I think about 6 episodes or so, which is fantastic and you should check out. And then they made the one-off movie, which I hope they actually make more of. Because the other books are even better. There's a lot they could play off of. The restaurant at the end of the universe alone would be entertaining.
I have to sit down and read the whole thing at some point. Also, a friendly reminder, as I see in the top of Amazon, today is also Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you.
Doesn't that happen every month?
No, because it's May 4th.
Oh.
Get it? It's planned.
Very funny. Meh.
I didn't say it was clever.
But yeah, that is your book and author highlight for the week. At some point, I need to actually get a copy of The Meaning of Lif, which is basically the Adams verse of a dictionary. There's a lot of entertaining words in there. Alright, and the website highlight for this week, I actually know absolutely nothing about because I did not add it to the show notes. But it is SCP Foundation.
I'm going to guess this was another one put up by Justin before he realized he wouldn't be here today.
Well, that's cool and all, but I know absolutely nothing about this. I didn't even get a chance to check it out so I could pretend to know what I'm talking about.
Secure, contain, protect.
It's a wiki, so that's one thing.
Looks like it has something to do with protecting your stuff.
Multiple languages, don't really care at the moment.
We may have to keep this one around and see about covering it next week.
Yeah. Considering there's 3,000 articles on this thing? Yeah, there's 3,000. Yeah, this was Justin's. He mentioned it to me at some point forever ago. It's something very interesting and very cool, but I completely forget what the significance was, and he would know best. So we're actually going to skip that one for this week so we can better do it justice next time round. So let's do a backup one. Let's do some writing exercises. This is a site I found
Exercises.
conveniently on Tumblr a couple weeks ago, and I thought, oh, great, another writing exercises generator. Yay. How good could it be? It's actually pretty cool. It's a lot more serious than something like Seventh Sanctum, where they just go silly. This one's pretty useful. Let's do improved plot generator. Main character, a dishonest 21-year-old composer. Well, if you're only 21, can't get too honest. A charming retired telephonist. The heck is a telephonist? It's like, is that like a telemarketer or a switchboard?
Well, I would imagine a telephonist would be like a saxophonist, only they play the telephone.
Huh. Well, depending on the telephone, it does make different tones, so you could probably make music out of it. I'm sure there's a whole subgenre of music just using dial tones and the number buttons and all that. What setting do we get? The story begins in an aeroplane. Lovely. What's the situation? A secret recording has been made. By the telephonist or the composer?
Ooh, maybe that's the secret.
Ah, and the theme is, it's a story about a life or death decision.
Uh-oh.
On an aeroplane, that could get dangerous.
Especially if there's a secret recording and a telephonist.
What's the character action? Your character has to make some difficult compromises in order to succeed. Is success living or dying?
I see. This is how I see it. Let's see. The telephonist, who is retired, has given up on life and needs to make a life or death decision, but has a secret recording of how the telephonist plans to end their life on the aeroplane. But the dishonest composer discovers it and now has to choose whether to be honest or dishonest about making the compromise and saving everyone on the plane. Or
including himself.
Including himself and the telephonist. Who is charming, as they say. Whatever the hell a telephonist is.
See? We have a plot right there. Therefore, this works. It's definitely kind of a nano plot at the moment, but...
Well, you start from there and you fine-tune things.
What's the quick plot generator do? Oh.
There's one button. That's pretty quick.
Your main character is a wise reporter. When a political demonstration turns into chaos, your character has some tough lessons to learn in this story of envy and loss.
It sounds like it should be read as the movie announcer guy.
I can't do it that low.
When a political demonstration turns into chaos, your character has some tough lessons to learn in this story of envy and loss.
Coming out May 15th.
To a theater at the edge of the galaxy.
I could actually see this plot theoretically working, or at least being a kickoff point for something. So it's not like Seventh Sanctum where they just literally tie random phrases together, and you have to try and make sense out of it before you can write anything. This one seems to have put a little more effort into it. And they have all sorts of different generators, not just plot.
I like the random ones. Those are probably going to be a lot of fun.
Let's do... Well, random image isn't very good. How about subject? Generate a subject. What do you not want to change about your life?
Ooh, we're getting deep and philosophical again.
Oh my. Maybe that's the meaning of life, the universe, and everything.
What, not to change?
Yeah. Keep what works, change what doesn't.
What about a random scenario?
That one. Creates a what-if scenario. Well, we like those.
We should use those for the
Yeah.
podcast.
It's the night before your wedding, and you finally admit to yourself that you don't love the person you are able to marry. Write about what happens next.
Oh dear.
E.
Drama and angst ahoy.
Yeah.
That's okay. I'm prepared.
What else they got? You are a high-ranking politician, and your teenage daughter has joined a revolutionary group. What do you do about it? I could actually see that happening in a story. These are pretty interesting. Lottery generator. How is this useful for a story? This is useful for life.
Maybe all starving artists also like to play the lottery. I like how the first number is a drop down and the second number is a text field.
Choose 10 numbers between 1 and 42. There's your lottery numbers for the week.
Yay!
Character generator. Oh, it's just a one-button one. A conscientious 25-year-old man who comes from a poor background, lives in an architect-designed home, and tends to a huge collection of pot plants.
Oh.
That took a turn.
Yeah, it did. When I first read through it, I thought it said potted plants, but
Yeah.
no, it's pot plants.
Well, it is legal in a couple states now, so
It's true. I think you need licenses, though.
yeah. But I mean, if he's must be conscientious if he's tending to them.
It's true. It's true.
And if he comes from a poor background, maybe he's getting a respectable pay or something out of it.
That's true. It's also true.
See? Plots. They're possible on this thing.
It even has random character traits, random jobs or occupations, random names.
Create 3 traits. Generous, secretive, and nurturing.
Oh my.
That's pretty conceptual. That would require some outlining to better utilize.
Indeed.
Alright, how's the random story title The. Your title is The.
Well, that's just the adjective or noun. Use these
Create
buttons to create your own story title.
The Melodic Cottage.
So there you go.
The Deadly Cottage. That changes things.
This just took a turn.
The Deadly Man.
Oh my.
The Deadly Car. That was yesterday.
Oh no.
I had to swerve into the other lane 3 times because of oncoming or merging traffic from on-ramps.
Ugh.
That was not fun. The Hissing Car.
Oh my.
That was not yesterday. The Hissing Pudding?
I don't even want to think about that one. That sounds really disturbing in many, many ways.
I hope that doesn't end up as an NSFWN thing.
My first thought was actually towards B-movie horror movie. The Night of the Hissing Pudding.
Starring Bruce Campbell.
What started as a simple dessert turned into something much more horrifying. That's not fruit in the pudding, it's bone!
Crunchy.
Aw.
The hollow pudding. That's just unsatisfying.
Indeed.
The magnificent pudding. Magnificent piano. Painting. Are we going alphabetical now? The magnificent motorbike. Now with alliteration. Hey, there's one for Slash. The magnificent wine.
Slash and the magnificent wine.
How about the one-button generated title? Last of the Summer.
Last what of the summer?
That's for you to determine.
Oh.
Maybe we find out on the last page.
The last page of the summer.
Loving my neighbor.
Oh my. Now we definitely went into not safe for, not suitable for or ninjas.
Come on. Give us another. Too late for regrets.
That sounds like the sequel to the last one.
Maybe the magnificent wine had something to play with it,
Probably.
or something to do with it. Meeting in our dreams.
Oh, well, now it's a trilogy.
Huh. Journey of a raindrop.
Ooh, that sounds like some kind of art house piece.
Either that or like a one-season anime. So yeah, this one is definitely worth checking out. We'll update the show notes accordingly so you can get the link to this. It's just writingexercises.co.uk, but we'll add it to the show notes accordingly after this. And you can check out all of the various prompty things. Ooh, writing apps. Oh, they have a free version, and why is the character creator... Oh, I thought that said like £9. I'm not paying £9 for an app.
It's 0.99 pounds.
Yeah, which is still like $1.30 or something in American dollars. Hey, they even have a Kindle book. Cool. But yeah, we will check. You should check this out, and we will look more into this later, probably.
Probably
All right.
Use it.
Yeah. Now it's time for writing prompts, because I know that's the next thing in the queue. All right. As with every week, as I pause, we have various writing prompts. We try to provide various styles for you because every creative person is a little different and likes to utilize different things, sometimes at different times. So we combine one-line writing prompts, one-word writing prompts, and a combination of Rory's story cubes, utilizing their app version because it is really convenient. And we put that all together in a nice little package for you over on our website under the Muse Food section, but we also have it linked in our show notes for each episode. Okay. You take one segment, I'll take the other two.
Okay. I
Which
do
one?
enjoy doing the one-liners, I must
All right.
clear my throat. And the 10 one-lining wording prompts for this week are: do you want to climb a giant? Your brush needs trimming.
Bush, not brush.
Oh, bush. Oh, that makes it even worse. Your bush needs trimming. You don't want any kind of neighbor disputes. I thought all lower life forms could fly. Look out! She's forgetting about physics again. You call this transportation? There's no way this could be anything other than a poorly conceived ambush. The dust in this place is growing sentient, smarter than you at this point. I don't know why, but that suddenly felt like it should be in a British accent. The dust in this place is growing sentient, smarter than you at this point. What fun is life if you can't live it with friends? Everything itches!
And those are your one-line writing prompts for this week. Make of those what you will. As for our one-word writing prompts, this week we have perseverance, level, implosion, cruise, stacked, impassion, review, decimate, cowl, and shrine. And the story cubes for this week is a treasure chest, unfortunately facing the other way. So if this were a game, you wouldn't be able to see what's in it until you run around it in circles a little bit and press the right button.
Sounds like a poorly conceived ambush.
We have a sad person dropping a ball, which is hopefully a bouncy ball, otherwise that will not end well. We have some ocean waves. We have a scale, like where you would have weights on each side, and one side is higher than the other, even though they're...
Technically, that's a balance.
Yeah, fine, it's a balance. It's an imbalanced balance because both sides look empty, but one side is higher than the other.
Yes, it's not a properly weighted balance.
Yeah, someone needs to get on that. We have a light bulb, which is currently not on because it's just a light bulb. It's not plugged into anything. We have what I think is a cellar stairway going straight down into a pit of doom. It's a giant black circle with a few little white blobs to kind of denote stairs. Kind of hard to tell.
I think it's supposed to be stairs going down.
Yeah.
At first I thought it was like a tablet or something.
It could be that. And we have a little airplane where hopefully life and death situations are not occurring on. We have someone listening to music with their eyes closed, so it must be pretty good music. And then we have a mushroom. Is this part of the mushroom temple by any chance?
It could be. There were a lot of mushrooms and mushrooms by the Mushroom Temple.
And that are your writing prompts for this week. As always, if you happen to create a short story or flash fiction piece based off of any of these writing prompts, we would love to read it. You can send us a copy of it or the URL where we can check it out via our email, which happens to be wordninja@fcwriters.com, conveniently attached to the bottom of the PDF or image, depending on how you're viewing it. And with that, I can take myself off of screen share, because we're done sharing stuff. Or at least on the screen, anyway. We're not done sharing. Alright, what's next? Yay! Writing, or creative goals and whatnots.
Everyone's favorite segment.
Yes, maybe that's why no one else is on the show. They saw just how many goals that everyone had. Alright, for last week, I was going to panic about MomoCon. I did that spectacularly.
Hooray!
And then panic about Book Expo America, which is the weekend after. I also fit some time into panic about that. And then just general panic about next weekend's meeting and general Terror 2015 stuffs. I have the rest of the year to panic about that. As do we all.
Yay, panic! Woo! I'm definitely keeping my towel handy.
How did your goals go last week?
Well, my goal to finish Chapter 24 of Roommate and have it posted on the 30th was almost successful. I posted it on the 1st, but I did get it done, posted, and people seem to like it.
Hooray!
Find time for Clash of the Storms. There was no time to be found.
Aw.
More editing playtime. No actual editing for what I meant, as in audio editing. And Minecraft server revival. Nope, didn't do that either.
Wait a minute. Someone's posting on our YouTube channel that should be in the show.
Meh.
Oh, so yeah, surprise, surprise, the comment tracker wasn't tracking. I just reset the YouTube comments, and someone's actually posted on there.
Yay for not working comment trackers.
I think that thing's only worked once. I might have to try and set it up after I hit the broadcast button. Maybe it doesn't work properly until then.
Maybe.
Stupid thing. Let's see. Oh, hey, we have goals for this week, too. I need to coordinate and pack stuff for next week's meeting. I just realized that today, like, oh yeah, I should actually figure that stuff out, because if I'm driving up, I kind of need everything in the car, theoretically.
Theoretically. Unless you
Uh,
have some kind of fancy transport thingy. Massive
Unfortunately,
stocking
no.
thing.
Nah, I broke it a couple weeks ago, so I'm just stuck with the regular car.
We'll have to set up another portal or something.
I don't really trust Nether portals too much. That and I don't have enough gear to make it through the Nether. I'm also hoping to survive another Doom week of Doomitude.
Doom!
Yes, this is a very doomy week. But hopefully I only have 2 more Doom weeks of doomy doomedness to go. And then things will be a little less doomy. And I need to effing do a book review, dang it. I was on a roll and then I stopped. And then I never caught up or picked up again. And I now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books stacked in the corner that I need to review and record and post at some point.
I should probably do one of those too, huh?
Eventually. Maybe next weekend we can make sure that all of our various tech and software works the way we need it to for that.
Indeed.
And theoretically, next weekend I will have a shiny new bauble of shiny shininess if it ever actually arrives.
Ooh.
So that I can properly keep everything on just one computer rather than scattered across a couple and hard drives and all that. But UPS needs to actually ship it here first. And how about your goals for this week? Since
All
I
right.
completely forgot to change the window focus, so it's just been on you this entire time.
Hooray! Everybody got to look at my ugly mug. All right, so I need to start working on chapter 25 of My Roommate's a Stripper. That's like always going to be a thing because I'm always working on that. Hopefully get back into editing Clash of the Storms. Fingers crossed, maybe. Work on some not suitable for Word Ninjas editing. I have plenty of files to splice together now.
And I have more to upload.
Yay! Maybe do a book review, since you brought it up, I threw it in there. And host all the parties! Since not only you guys coming up next weekend, but my parents are coming up tomorrow.
Yay, forced socialization.
Yeah, well, it's my parents and it's you guys, so I don't mind.
Especially since we're bringing the whiskey.
Whiskey!
Although I have no idea what Justin is bringing because he has opinions
Opinions?
about alcohols
What are his opinions about alcohols?
that we're not fancy enough, so he needs to bring his stash.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, I've been playing Elder Scrolls Online, and I've been enjoying the Nords. Fancy is an insult. There's one dark elf you talk to. It's like, yeah, I tried to ask him for help. He called me fancy. I think that's an insult. Also, I think he was drunk.
When are they not?
You go talk to that very same Nord. He's like, "Oh, fancy elves coming to hide behind the Nords." Bah! Milk drinkers!
Yeah, I have a couple ideas of what I will provide for the weekend, besides all the things to create ever. So that'll be fun. And presumably everyone else on the show has their own respective goals that will be met or at least thought about this week. Let's see here. Events. There are way too many to talk about, especially since I've started adding affiliates. But it is May, therefore we can talk about conventions in May, which are still a lot. The next ones up are MomoCon, Memorial Day weekend. That one's down in Atlanta, Georgia. And it's spanning 2 hotels because they're basically doubling in size this year. It's going to be crazy. There's a couple people of interest there, like Mike Rice, who's a TV comedy writer. He produces for The Simpsons, and he co-created The Critic, which, depending on the age of people listening, may or may not know what that is, which is sad. We also have Matthew. All I hear are little bits and blurbs because you're muting at awkward times.
Oh, well, I'm trying to think. Basically, look it up.
Yeah.
The Critic, look it up.
It is worth checking out. We also have Matthew McFarland, who does a lot of RPG development for like White Wolf Game Studios, which is pretty cool. And a majority of the Fairy Tale podcast, our affiliate, is going to be there. And they're hosting the Fairy Tale photo shoot on that Sunday. And that same weekend, our other affiliate, Itty Bitty Sheep, is going to be at Animazement. And I completely forget where that one is, because I don't remember. I checked out their guest list, and ones that stuck out to me were Trisha Ledoux, who's an editor, and Keiko Han, who's an author and voice actress.
According to their website, they're in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Oh yeah, it's that one. Yeah, so between ourselves and our affiliates, we're going to be in Georgia and there. That's interesting. And also in May, the weekend after, is Book Expo America, where Calvin and myself will be running around like headless chickens trying to talk to people and get a ridiculous amount of ARCs, which we will then divvy up amongst the crew to read and review, or at least poke at. And that Sunday is BookCon, which is like the more general populace consumer part of Book Expo America, which is a lot cheaper, and you don't have to actually be a company to attend. So it's definitely worth checking out. And the same weekend is Hartford Comic Con, which I'm kind of sad that I'm missing out on, because that's a fun one. Obviously in Hartford, Connecticut. Our affiliate, Itty Bitty Sheep, is going to be there. You should go say hello if you're in the area. Oh yeah, and Book Expo America, that's the Javits Center in Manhattan. So we're all over the place this month. And everything else is far enough away that we don't really need to worry about, but if you want to see the full list, it's in our show notes with appropriate links to their websites, who's going to be there, and special guests and all that goodness. All right. Do you happen to have a D6 handy?
Always have a D6 handy.
Could you roll that D6?
I can, and I will. 1.
Hey, this week our show is brought to you by ourselves, Full Coverage Writers. Yeah, we're compiled by our umbrella corporation, which is not evil entirely. Not entirely. Full Coverage Writers, a repository of resources for writers. We have all of the past episodes, excluding 2 of them because of technological shenanigans. A lot of reading recommendations, a couple author interviews, a few worksheets, and more. You can check it all out at fcwriters.com. And if you can't tell, we're slowly wrapping things up, but if we entertain you in any way, shape, or form, you can show your appreciation very easily. You can just subscribe to our YouTube channel, which, theoretically, if you're watching this right now, you're on. And if you're in the future, hi, future peoples, it's conveniently linked in our show notes, so you can check that out, or just search for Word Ninjas Live, and we'll pop up. All of our previous episodes, except for 2, are there, and a couple other various entertaining shenanigans that we happen to have recorded and posted. And while we are primarily privately funded, you can help us out if you really like to by going over to fcwriters.com, like we've mentioned before. The Word Ninjas Live page, which has all of the previous episodes, there is a convenient PayPal donation link right at the top. You can choose a monetary donation of your choice, but if you happen to hit a certain level, which is pretty easy to do considering our levels, we give something back to you, because partly we're here because we're crazy and we enjoy doing this every week, and partly because you guys are very entertaining and we like actually just talking to our viewers and listeners. And if you happen to donate $1, which is pretty easy nowadays, most people have $1 that they can hand over or donate or share, you get a shout out on a future episode. You can promote your site, social media account, your own podcast, or just say hello. If you do $5, you can ask a talkie points question, a what if scenario, or provide an author, publisher, YouTube channel, or website highlight for a future episode of the show. If you go crazy and give us $10, you can sponsor an entire episode and join us live. That's right. If you give us $10, you can join in our ridiculous shenanigans, on a future episode of the show, presuming that you have the internet, webcam, and microphone capabilities to do so. And in the tiny little fine print in really fast speed that I'm too lazy to try and do, if under 18, please provide parental consent for live stream attendance and subsequent posting to our YouTube channel. All right, that's enough rambling for me. Insert expletive here. I still had you highlighted. I keep forgetting that I set that up and then I forget to take it off.
It's the day of the will, apparently.
Apparently. Maybe you are the meaning of life, the universe, and everything.
That, if you want to get philosophical, then one's will could be the meaning of life, the universe, and everything.
And with that, let's wrap up this show. Where can you people find us on the internets? Let's start with Will.
I can be found on a few places. My personal Tumblr page is darkhom.tumblr.com. That's darkhom.tumblr.com. I just realized I forgot my lower third today, but whatever. It's not safe for work, so there's a lot of adult stuff there. So if you're under 18, don't go there. You might get in trouble. I also have a writing Tumblr for My Roommate's a Stripper, which is myroommatesastripper.tumblr.com. The story is not safe for work. It does have adult themes in it. I have a Twitter at WillGranville, but I haven't looked at it in forever. And I have a Sofurry at darkhom.sofurry.com. If you want to view the Not Safe for Work stuff, you need to create an account, which will require you to be over 18. And I am sort of doing writing commissions, the information of which can be found on my Tumblr page or my Sofuri page. Basically, $10 for 10 pages. And that's
What
it.
if you want to do 10.5 pages?
I don't know. It'll probably still just be $10 for that little bit extra.
What if it's 10 3/4?
Then it's $20.
In other words, price is negotiable.
Yeah, price is relatively negotiable.
All right, I'm going to remember to change it from you to me. Sit up a little so that I'm not completely hidden by my lower third. And you can find me via my zombified Twitter account, silver_wolf85. I sometimes poke at that, but really, unless people like reply me or direct message me, I'm not going to notice. You can check me out on the Fairy Tale podcast as Makarov Monday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time via their YouTube channel. I have a personal Tumblr, which is fancypantswolf.tumblr.com. It's NSFW-ish. It's about 90% SFW. Every once in a while, I'll throw something in there just to confuse you peoples and make you embarrassed. And for full coverage writers, we have everything. Our website, as we've mentioned, is fcwriters.com. Our YouTube channel is easy enough to search for, but the short URL is wnja.us/YouTube. So it's basically Word Ninja abbreviated .us/YouTube. Our literary Twitter handle is @FCWordNinja. Our literary Tumblr is fcwordninja.tumblr.com, and that is safe for work. Facebook is facebook.com/fullcoveragewriters. And for anything and everything else, you can just email us via wordninja@fcwriters.com. And with that, we are going to wrap up episode 42 of Word Ninjas Live. Now, unfortunately, for various reasons and logistics and schedulings, we are not having an episode next week. Because reasons. So you're going to have to wait 2 whole weeks for episode 43. So enjoy your week off from our literary insanity. And for those where it applies, have a happy Mother's Day next Sunday.
Indeed. And remember to write.
Yes. What are you doing watching this? You should be writing right now. Go on, get to writing already. All right, time to sign out. Until next time.